one thing about being married or in a relationship and still dealing with mental health, you should not expect your spouse to fix your mental health.
The Levisons, we are back. My name is Tony.
My name is Brianna.
And we are the Levisons. And today...
Wednesday.
Hey, Mandy, what's up, girl? Today we are talking about mental health and mental stability
within a relationship.
Within a relationship, having individual mental health inside of a relationship, whether it's a marriage, a friendship, you've been dating for a little while, working at a job. Mental health, mental health
real.
Is key. It's tough, and it's so complex, and it takes a lot to be mentally stable day in and day out while you're trying to, make sure that you're there for somebody else. So let's talk about our journey mentally, individually, and how we were able to get to a point of I wouldn't say freedom mentally.
Yeah, right.
But
still the struggles.
Control.
Yeah, stability.
Stability, while individually and through marriage.
For me, I struggled with mental health and didn't even know I had a mental health issue. I have experienced so much death in my life, and it's been since we got married. It was like instantly. So, we got married in October, and then one of my ultimate favorite uncle, he died in December. And I wasn't able to attend his funeral because I had just literally moved to Virginia like a week before. And I think that was kind of the start of it. And being in Virginia was not good to me. One, I wasn't super social. And then Tony was able to get out and do things with like his coworkers and stuff like that, where I was straight mommy mode. I need to get home to my kid. I go to school, do whatever, all the things. So I don't think I was being in the house. It mentally got me. Like it mentally got me. Like I then didn't think I was good enough, or my school that I went to, it was way too easy. I should have like been way far off. But most of my mental health problems again came from death. What the year that hit me the hardest, the biggest death that hit me was my sister. When that time frame, because I had just lost my father a year and a half before, and then I had 4 uncles, 3 cousins, now 5 uncles now, and then with my sister, like I just completely melt down. It took until I literally said that I'm depressed. Like it really, I'm really depressed. Like I'm in the medical field. I know all the depression signs, but before I denied it because I have always been that strong person. I can't have any mental issues if I'm the strong person. Like I've always been known as the strength to so many different people. And once I realized that I was depressed, I started to do things for myself. Little things. It didn't have to be big things. I didn't have to go out and buy me a car and stuff. Last year I did, but go buy me a car, or do these big shopping sprees. I just literally started to do something for myself. It was the little things. Like if I want to do something, I'm gonna go do it. Like I don't have to find ways to not do it. And also I was able to talk it out with Tony. I think that helped me so much because at that time I couldn't be strong. and I needed to fail, like to fall, like, and I just remember being able to literally get it all out with Tony. It took a long time to really admit that I was depressed. Like it really did. Like I knew I was showing all the signs. I knew that I couldn't continue on with the way that I was. I had to. Like when I say losing my sister broke me, oh, it broke me down. So I think by communicating, like I realized I stood off, could be a little standoffish, and I had to catch myself, and like every little thing would snap. And then everything that used to piss me off, I would bring back up. And it was actually like my defense mechanism that I was doing. I was like, this is not healthy for our relationship. I just have to tell him like I'm stressed. Like I'm stressed. I'm super stressed. And I'm depressed and I'm down and I'm out. I never was ever on any medications until this past October. I actually started anxiety medication because COVID drastically changed our life. You know, it drew, when I say drastically, it did. We already a family of 5. I now have more family members living with me. And one of them happens to be my mom. And I seen what she has been going through these past few years. And I seen that she is struggling on just other ways. And I seen that that I had to get myself together. How can I take care of my mother if I'm not together?
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. And then work is just, my job was always stressful, but it's just, this past year it went like times 10. So it was, it was time. So, and I got to it by talking with my husband. Like I talked with Tony. Finally, it was after when my sister passed, and I just remember just falling and he was like, I got you. Like we got to get through it. We gonna get through it. And so I think when I finally broke down and realized I wasn't strong enough to continue on, mm-hmm. that's when it started to make a big change.
Yeah, it was. You struggled a while, mm-hmm. Without trying to admit, and there was times where I told you, like you're not 100%. You need to slow down. You need to stop worrying so much about that job, and you need to get yourself together. Mm-hmm. Stop worrying about other people, mm-hmm. and get yourself together. And it took you a while to listen. But when you finally listened, you started to get better. Mm-hmm. Not as far as your depression, but also as far as, being able to tell yourself mm-hmm. that you're not well. Mm-hmm. That's a huge key in having mental health in a relationship. Your spouse can tell you all day long, babe, you're not well. Mm-hmm. Babe, there's something wrong. Babe, you seem like you're struggling. You're not doing this. You're insecure. Mm-hmm. You're making yourself worse than you really are.
Sick.
Yeah, you're making yourself sick by continuing to have the low self-esteem and not thinking you're good enough and not preparing yourself mentally for the growth of our relationship until that person can sit back and say, yeah, I'm not well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then a relationship is going to struggle. I have a stat right here that says being happily married or in a stable relationships impacts positively on mental health.
Mm-hmm. I got so with that, it took, once I said it, then that I was depressed and I told you, you started to change your verbiage on a lot of things. Like you started to compliment me more. You started to like, oh, let's hold hands and not just grab Brianna's butt. Like those little things, which I do like. I love that.
I know you do.
But those little things have mattered, and it, again, it's the small things. And I don't expect, oh, Tony needs to bring me a gift every week, but like the little justifications, it goes a long way. And it helps me know, like, okay, you gotta breathe. You falling today. Like, this is not your day, but he got you, and he's thinking about you, and he is gonna make a difference.
Yeah, it's a tough goal, especially when you and your partner's mentally going through something. Because I didn't realize that I wasn't mentally there until what 2019.
Yeah, same year as Lisa died.
2019. I was I didn't even know that I was.
Yep.
Until you said you're not yourself. Like, you've been snapping a lot lately. You haven't been cheery, happy, and that's no. It was last year. It was early last year, because that's when I really stopped posting on social media. I really stopped, talking to a lot of people. I just kept my same circle, and it was because I was struggling, and I was battling, trying to find my true happiness.
Right.
But I was yanking at so many other different areas in life, trying to find happiness, when I had to really, like, take my own advice and dig inside myself.
Correct.
And become happy, with who I am currently, and who I'm working to become.
Right.
And it was really hard I wouldn't say it was hard for our relationship, but I think it was hard for us individually to push ourselves through mental hurdles,
right,
while pulling each other through at the same time.
Yeah.
And that can take a toll on a relationship. And if your relationship isn't built on the solid foundation of communication, then your whole marriage, your whole relationship, your whole friendship can fall apart because of mental health. Like,
yeah. What was we doing? We was literally, like, we'd get up, and Tony has his client, I'm getting ready to go to work, and, like, I instantly know when I'm not gonna have a good day. Like, it sucks to say that, like, I'm all about affirmations, but I know when I'm, like, mentally struggling, and all I do is text you, like, babe, I'm struggling today. And that was a light for you to be like, okay, I'm gonna pick up the pieces. Or you would like, your energy, you don't realize how much your energy impacts not only you, but everybody. I know it, like, instantly. Like, it's the weirdest thing, but I instantly know when you're off. And I just happen to just, ask, like, how you doing today? And you'd be like, I'm just not in a good place today.
Yeah, and one huge thing for people, especially in relationships, is being truthful and admitting to themselves that they're not okay.
Yep.
It's okay to not be okay.
Correct.
It really is. It's okay to tell yourself that you have low self-esteem. It's okay to admit to yourself that you don't like who you see when you look in the mirror.
Right. That's how you set goals.
But that's where the transformation begins to come. Like, your transformation starts mentally, when you finally are able to realize and understand and tell yourself, I'm not well. There is something more that I need to be pursuing for me to get better. I can be a lot better than I am today.
Right.
This is what I had to tell myself. I was doing the affirmations. I was doing the things that should put you in a great mental spot. But the thing was, I wasn't believing in my own growth. I wasn't believing that I could take myself to another level mentally, because I was so down.
Yeah.
And my mind was clouded, and my mind was fogged. And I felt like I just couldn't see a way out of the things that we were going through together. I was going through mentally. She was going through mentally.
Right. It's because you had a lot of things going on at one time, and I tell you that all the time. Like, I'm all for multiple streams of income, but I'm also for I know how you operate. You're not gonna do good at 5 things and have to give 110% at 5 things. Because then that puts you up in the middle of the night, all night, thinking like, okay, I done now took care of this business, but now I need to do this. And that's just not how you work, because you don't half-ass. And I think that is what was draining you, because you had your hands in so many things. And you were doing such a good job at everything, like everything that you were supposed to do. But it was the time where your mind needed to slow down and digest everything. And because that's just not how you work. You can do 2-3 things and still give 110%. But you was like, you was in deep with like 5-6 different things. And I think that was breaking you as well.
I think that it almost did break me. It almost did, because I was trying to be stubborn, and I was trying to
prove me wrong.
No, I was trying to keep the mantra of just push and everything that happened and work, and I didn't want to I didn't want to give in to the failure, even though
it's not failure.
Even though I know failure is a part of the journey.
Correct.
I was reluctant to give into the failure because I didn't want to seem as though I am failing. And I
don't think that's it, but I don't think that was failure. I think you were being more successful at putting things on pause.
That's
because true. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't count that as a failure. You just put everything on pause and you laid it out and you said, what is my passion? Right? And just because one thing is not your passion does not mean that you're not good at it. But you have to focus on, like, you're a business owner. Like, you are self-made. And you have to focus on, the 2 or 3 things that is your passion. And so I wouldn't count that the pausing of everything else as a failure at all, because you were very successful doing it.
True.
Yeah.
So, question.
One thing about being married or in a relationship and still dealing with mental health, you should not expect your spouse to fix your mental health. I'm going to just get that out there. And I say that
Elaborate.
because...
Push that forward.
Yeah, I say that because, just because I could be self-conscious or something like that, I'm not going to... my expectation is not for you to continue to compliment me on all these things to make me feel better. Like, that's basically like lotion on top of the body. There's just an extra cover-up of the real problem. The real problem is me. And I need to figure out what Brianna likes, not what Tony likes. No. This is for Brianna. So I think a lot of people put such a hard expectation on their spouse to fix them when that's not their job. Their job is to support them. To support, to get you where you need to be. It is not the expectation. That should not be the expectation that he's going to fix me. Because that ain't that. No, that's giving more control over your life that you don't even have control over. You know what I'm saying? Like that part doesn't make sense.
So let's jump into something that has a lot to do with mental health and how we view ourselves. Self-esteem. Self-esteem it's esteem of self. What's up, Court? It's just no. I'm being serious. I'm not even trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Self-esteem is pretty much esteem. It's how you view yourself.
Right.
It's how you picture yourself. It's how you see yourself outside of your body. Where does a partner, what role does a partner play in helping one person develop a self-esteem if it's all about the image of oneself?
Okay. So I'm just throwing out different things. I can be like, I just don't feel beautiful. The partner's job is, okay, why do you feel that way? What part of you don't you feel beautiful? Is it your face? Is it your body? I'm like, is it your stomach? Is it your legs? Like, what is it? And I can say, oh, my stomach is terrible, which it is. So my expectation for my spouse when it comes to their, like, all right, let's figure out a workout plan. Let's figure out what we can do to eat better. You know, it's those little, those little things. I don't expect you to be like every day, like, Brianna, get up. No, I have to take some accountability.
Accountability.
I do. You have to take accountability for yourself. I'm not going to put any pressure on you and say that, oh, you need to compliment me 100% more. Every day I need a compliment. I need a I love you. I do need a I love you every day, or we ain't gonna have a good day. But, and that's always been our relationship though. But that's where that role is. Like, when it comes to self-esteem, like, we just have to balance each other out, and not go overboard. Because some people push their spouse so much to where it makes them uncomfortable. So you have to learn how to balance that.
Right.
And where a spouse say, okay, I'm tired.
What's up, Mom?
Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's those little things and trying to figure out how to balance. It's a lot. Like, people really don't realize when you get into a relationship, it's so many levels to a relationship. Like, a good relationship or successful relationship, it ain't peaches and cream, okay? It is hard work. And you have to learn each other. Like, I always say that our 2.5 years we was together before we got married. And we were still in and out. I think it took a lot for us to get where we are. And I think those 2 years really started a foundation for us.
It did.
Because our first year of our marriage was not good.
Yeah,
it was not good at all.
It was, I would say the first two.
Yeah, the first two.
I would say the
first 5, first whatever. It don't matter. All them years.
I wouldn't
all
say
of them.
the first 5.
But am I being dramatic?
Definitely.
Whatever. But relationships is hard. And every week, as we talk about different things, you can see so many things that you have to overcome. And the main point I want to say is you have to overcome it together. It can't be just one person, and it can't be one-sided.
So in that overcoming together, how?
50. Look, relationships, and we struggle with this at the very, very beginning. When you argue about something, it does not have to be a winner.
Yeah.
So that's a piece that I'm going to just throw out there. When we argue it, and when you argue, or if it's in every disagreement does not have to be an argument.
And every argument doesn't have to have a winner.
Correct. Like, that is something we did not do together at the beginning. We always thought somebody had to have a ding, the belt.
The point had to be proven.
Correct. And you gonna see my way or no way.
And if you didn't see it my way, then would nobody seeing
guess
nothing.
what? You gonna be pissed tonight.
We ain't seeing nothing nobody's
You gonna
way.
be pissed tonight. But but again, it's all, that's how a relationship works. You have to give a little, you're gonna get a little. Like, it's all about 50-50. The more you put in doesn't necessarily mean that's the more you're gonna get out. It's always everything is halfway. Everything is communication. Everything is that everybody comes to one. Like, it's 50-50 all the way.
Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. So we talked about self-esteem. Then you brought up a word. A word that's very, very frightening to so many people, whether they're in a relationship or not. I don't care if they're growing a relationship or trying to grow their bank accounts. But when it comes to mental health, this word is probably top 2. Accountability.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Holding yourself accountable and growing your mindset. Correct. And growing your mentality and growing how you think or how you overcome or how you persevere through mental challenges in a relationship or with yourself is really the hardest part about growing your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't do this, if I say every day, every morning, I'm going to get up 30 minutes earlier than I do now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do this for 30 days, and I'm going to write down 5 things I want to accomplish today. And then I'm going to put 3 bullet points that's going to help me accomplish it. If by day 7, you be like,
I'm gonna lay down.
I'm tired. Maybe I get up with 15 minutes. I can do the whole exercise in 15 minutes. You're not holding yourself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing goes with mental health. If you're not doing the work that it takes to, push your mental health and mental stability to the next level, you won't become mentally healthy. And then on top of that, your self-esteem will continue to stay low. You will continue to think that you aren't good enough for not only someone else but for yourself.
And also, you have to. I lost my train of thought just that quick.
Oh, you hold that. Okay. So here's the thing.
I got you.
Here's the thing. When it comes to your mental health, a lot of relationships suffer when someone is not, feeling themselves mentally because a spouse can't identify with their spouse why they don't see themselves the way that they see them. And it's really, really hard for me to tell Brianna, or say for instance, I tell Brianna, I like this, I like that, and she's in her mind like, well, I don't like that.
Right.
How could you like it?
Like, that's not what I look like.
That's not what I look like. That's not how I feel about myself. So how are you going to tell me how I'm supposed to feel when that's not how I see myself? And that's not only tough, but it's kind of a trap. Because if you're day in and day out saying, I like this about you, I like this about you, over time, your spouse that is listening to this may just turn around and say that's what you're supposed to say, because that's what you did. That's what you're supposed to say. You only saying that because you're supposed to say that we're married.
Timing. It was all about timing. It was weird. Like, all of a sudden now you're saying it after I said I'm not feeling myself. Like, it was just weird. But then I learned I have to accept compliments. It's okay to accept compliments.
That's another thing.
And I also I got my thought back.
Oh, here we
go.
Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big one.
When it comes to mental health, you have to stop and think, like, and process, okay, how did I think before? Like a year ago, 5 years ago. How do I want to, where do I want to be when I'm thinking about this problem as it's going through my mind? And just, you have to, like, sit down and really take a step back. The things that you went through in your past, that was the start and that was your past, but it's now time for you to learn and grow. You're not going to continue to be successful in a mental health state or become stable if you continue to dwell on your past. Have you learned from your past? Your past is not going to help you get to where you need to be become mental.
It can. And here's how. Okay. Here's why I say your past can help you, because when you're moving forward,
you're learning from it.
You're learning from it, but you could always look back and say, okay, all right, I did this way, but I know this is a trigger.
Correct.
So I'm not gonna feed into the trigger to get back to where I was at.
No, I was saying the way you were thinking in your past.
Oh,
you can't use that same
mentality.
thought process to think
right,
for you to become stable. But I know, I get you.
Right.
So yes, you have to learn from your past, but your past does not make you. Will not make and break you. I could have been a stripper all on somebody's corner back in the day. And then now you're successful and you do it in a different way. So you can't use your past as your excuse every single time, especially not when your spouse is like, they've accepted your past. They know your past. So one thing you can't do is expect your spouse to understand your past if you've never told them about your past.
Oh, that's
right.
Big. That's a big. So let's
that's
go.
Mental.
Let's go ahead and dive on that. Let's dive in on that, because a lot a lot of people like to hide they don't like to share their true past with their spouses because they don't want them to look at them a certain way. So why
That's not fair to this.
Exactly. Why is it so important for a spouse to know everything? It's if
Very
not
close,
everything,
very close to
as
everything.
much as possible. All the small little nuances that make you you or has made you you up until now. Why is it so important for you to share your whole self with your partner?
Because they, like, again, expectations. Like, I can't expect you to, oh, I don't like when you, I'm gonna just use something random. I don't like when you put your hand on my neck, where in my past somebody used to choke me. So like, if you're not open and communicating about who you are, and if that your spouse is going to judge you, then that spouse is not meant for you.
Exactly. That makes sense.
Not at all.
Yeah, you're right.
So you have to be honest. I use this in my relationship. I use the same thing with my staff. I'm a very open and honest person, and everybody's not open like I am. Like, I am very open. Like, I know my trials, my tribulations. I've been through things, and I like to help people grow because I know what I went through. I can't always say and give advice to everybody like, oh, I know exactly where you're coming from. No, because I don't. But this is where I came from, and this is how I handled it. I can give my opinion and my advice on your situation, because sometimes, a lot of people have not been in those situations. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody doesn't have that same way that they grew up, and it was completely different. So it's important to be diverse when it comes to that, and to be able to help on so many levels, and everybody can share their stories, and we all can learn from it. Like, I think that's important. Like, how we was raised, and we talk about how we was raised all the time, and now we take bits and pieces of how we was raised and we instill in to our kids.
Exactly.
So I think it's important to always have that communication when it comes to that, because what if you're thinking about having a family, or what if it's two families coming into one? You have to talk like, okay, this is what we went through in the past, right? This is what we went through, and this is how I don't want to go through those things. And your spouse, if you don't tell them, your spouse is not going to know. Like,
very true.
I didn't know that I was pissing you off. You never told me that you was hurting or you didn't like this word. One thing I said at the very beginning of our relationship: don't call me no bitch. I'm not your bitch, okay? Don't ever, if I hear you call me that, it's going to be a problem. And so, and a lot of people, they do call their spouse, which is totally fine. That is good for them, but it ain't going to be in my household. Not today, not tomorrow, not last week, okay?
So, how much tougher is growing your mental health in a relationship when you have children?
Oh.
When you bring the element of having not one child but multiple children in your relationship, and you're already struggling and battling with keeping your sanity, how much harder is it to not only fix your mental health but be there for your spouse, but now you also have to raise a child,
correct,
and you're not 100% mentally there? Where do you find it? Like, what are some things that people can do that are in situations that is pulling their mentality, draining their mental?
Yeah. So
especially when it comes to raising children with lack of mental clarity. So
I can talk about how we handle it. We said once we in our room, we are in our room. That is our time. So at night we used to talk in the middle of the night, but something we also do is on our way to work. Yeah, we talk, and we literally, we talk every time, every morning on our way to work. We literally are on the phone the entire time to work. When we leave, when I get off of work, the exact same. So that way we can digest everything on the phone, and by the time we get home, like, that
it's gone.
It's correct. We got out our system.
It's out of the way.
And it's not in front of our kids. Because our kids are very nosy and they pick up on every little thing.
They're very intelligent.
Yeah, like they pick on it. Mommy, you okay? Daddy, you okay? Like it's a whole thing. So I think for us, you have to find your time and make them consistent. Because this is our thing. This is our thing. Every time we're driving to work, we talk about the affirmations that he had sent that morning and how it's gonna push me through. Sometimes I'll be a little gangster after the affirmation.
Yeah.
He like,
Don't
babe,
even understand how
that
works.
affirmations are not supposed to make you
like
so
angry?
aggressive. I was gonna say, he said,
you said, I will be my best self. I don't.
That
understand.
is my best. At that time, my best self was to cuss everybody out.
See.
So whatever.
Miscommunication.
No, it's not miscommunication. That's how you took it, and that's how I took
the
it.
affirmations got on YouTube wanted you.
You don't know that until we call him. Anyway.
I'm gonna comment on the next one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna comment on this video and ask him that
Whatever.
intended.
It's however you take it. Communication. This is how I communicated that. But we get ready for the day. And then again, when I get off work, he's the first person to always call. And if we are not calling each other, somebody is like, so you ain't want to talk to me today? It's a problem.
You got to be very important for us to talk to you on our way to and from work. like if we're not talking to each other and we talking to you on our way to work or on our way home,
it better be something good.
You're important. So if that's happened to you, if you've talked to us at between the hours of 7 and 8 a.m. and 4:30 and 6 p.m., you're loved.
Correct. Because I straight ignore and text like, I'm going to call you back.
You're loved.
Like I'm not about to see him, but again, this is how
we decompress.
Yes, that is definitely, and that's how we leave it in the car.
That's how we decompress.
We leave it in the car. Once we get it out, that's it, and then we go.
What are the parameters of helping someone regain their mental stability when they've just came out of a very, very negative mental relationship? Someone that just got out of a relationship where they were either being physically abused, mentally abused, sexually abused, financially abused. What can a spouse or a person that's in a relationship with that person that just came out of a relationship of that type of abuse, how can that spouse play not only a positive role in getting that person back, but a negative role in pulling them back even further?
Once you learn the story, how do you take it? Is it can that make or break the relationship? Also,
elaborate, like tell me full detail.
Okay, so say he is now just got out of a really bad relationship with whoever, and now he's in a new relationship with a new female, and once he has told her the story of like, this is where I've been through this and the third, the new girl can say, well, I don't think I want to be with somebody that's not financially stable. Again, that comes with communication. And if that's not for you, if that's not for them, that's not for them. You cannot fault somebody for being honest about if that's for them or not. But how can someone help get through that process? I think it's always about being open, understanding, and know that you can give them the tools to be better and how you would like handle those situations. And you can be like, this is, I save, $100 a day. Like, let's make sure your bills are correct. Like, giving advice in that aspect, but don't expect that person to, one, pay all your bills just to get you financially out of debt. No, accountability. You need, you was in that relationship for so long or so little, and it got to that point. So now it's your responsibility to get yourself out
of that. Exactly. True.
Mentally, you can give them advice to say, all right, Tony, you need to go to therapy. I recommend that you should go to therapy because I can't fix your problems. Like I don't know how to help you. Because a lot of people don't know. True. Like, how can I help a somebody that's not stable, mentally stable?
True. Okay. All right. Now that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Now what if the person we already identified,
mm-hmm.
just got out of a mentally unstable relationship that
mm-hmm.
broke them to the core.
Correct.
But the person that they just got into a relationship with wasn't in a bad mental relationship,
mm-hmm.
but they're still carrying hurt, pain,
mm-hmm.
anxiety,
mm-hmm.
distress
Correct.
into a relationship,
mm-hmm.
but they don't even know it.
Right.
They're just holding on to what was,
mm-hmm.
but it's hindering what can be.
Correct.
How can a couple like try to push through that? Is it
hard.
Is it a way to get to a better point in your relationship?
Not until they both separately
get professional help.
Yeah, like not until they both separately figure out what they need to work on and have actually decided and actually is taking action on figuring that out. I personally would not have recommended if it like it's not us. I can say it's not us, but like if it was a friend, like that's a lot. It's so much you have to work on before you get into a relationship, and I think a lot of people just want the title. And you want the title, or you want that body in the bed with you, or you want to have fun and stuff like that. I think you definitely should, right? And you have to learn to love yourself. If you can't love yourself, true, how can somebody else love you?
Or how can you love somebody else?
Correct. How? That you have to sit there and you have to take that and you have to digest that. If I don't love myself, how can someone else love me? Or how can I love someone else? Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna start overcompensating.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking, okay, I'm not good enough, but if I do X, Y, and Z a little better or a little more, is that truly making you a better person just because you're trying to prove and succeed and, to that other person? Like you're going above and beyond making them happy, but you're still not happy.
You're unhappy yourself.
So how does that work? That's not a good mental stability. Like that's not a good place to be in.
How bad is that for kids to see? How horrible is it for children to see their parents or, the step parent or something like that mentally unstable? How hard is that on children, or how can it affect the children?
It definitely can affect them in a very bad way. I have a friend that she was in a very bad situation. And she grew up with the same issues, and now her daughter, she has twins, daughters, I should say, they're teenagers now, and they literally you let such and such talk to you certain type of way, so that's how I'm going to do. Like, how when teenagers find themselves, so now they're throwing it in her face or whatever and going back and forth. So I think it's so hard, again, kids pick up on everything. They adjust to everything. And it's not doing anything but making it worse for you. That is adding an extra layer of not being mentally stable on you.
Right.
And you are now traumatizing their childhood. You're definitely traumatizing their childhood. So, and how selfish is that? You know what I'm saying? Now you need to take accountability for how your child is going to be raised and their thought process. You know what I'm saying? The way you grew up, or whoever it is, how you grew up, you don't want to push those scenarios and those thoughts onto your children. Because you got to remember, how did you feel when you was a kid and growing up? So, now you're taking that little piece out of them.
That's deep.
Yeah.
How can how can, what am I trying to say? How can the lack of a healthy mindset take away from your ability to love yourself?
I don't know. That's a good one. I think.
Can you honestly say that if you aren't mentally stable 100%, you can 100% love yourself, and you can 100%, be able to, love yourself.
So I think, a lot of people don't, when they're like mentally unstable, it does not mean that they don't, it depends on what type of mental health problem that you have or illness that you have.
Let's just talk about depression and anxiety.
Okay.
Let's just stay at.
So it depends on what you're depressed
like
about. A lot of people have depression and anxiety because of work. So that does not mean I don't love myself. You know what I'm saying? Like that just mean like my job, my area of work is just not the best, and a lot of people see death in their line of work, or that a lot of people see a lot of negative things. Like if you work in a mental health facility, like you see a lot of things that can be negative, so that can make you depressed because that's all you see is like bad things happening. So I think it just depends on what type of depression and anxiety you have. Like, it's so many layers to it all.
So where can we as a society grow when it comes to mental health? Now we gonna start with individual mental health. I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah.
Where can we grow as a society when it comes to us coming together and not conquering mental health, but not letting it be as
manage it.
Yeah, manage it better. That's what
we have to learn what mental health is.
Learn the signs.
Yep, learn what it is. You have to learn your resources. You have to learn how did I get there? Because you have to that is a piece you have to go back into your past and figure out how you got there. How can you make sure you never go to that place? So 1, learn the signs of depression, anxiety. 2, learn your resources. Learn what process can get you there. Some people say therapy, some people do yoga, some people, medication is the best way. So it's so many layers to it. And then also know that just because you're in a bad mental place now, you don't have to be there forever. You have to believe in yourself, So that's mine. What about you, sir? Did I take all your stuff?
Now, I believe that for someone to grow their mental, to get healthier mentally, a person really has to really want to. You can't, like the saying goes, you lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. A person can have all the resources they can have. There's so many resources for people to get mentally well, but until you sit down and you can honestly tell yourself that I'm mentally unstable, I am ill mentally, that I have a problem, I need help, you're not gonna get help. You're not gonna get better. You're not gonna be a better person. You're gonna constantly, be a Debbie Downer amongst your friends. You're gonna constantly have bad relationships. You're gonna constantly, drive people away and hurt, and not only drive people away, but you're gonna drive yourself away from yourself, if that makes any sense, because you aren't comprehending. I don't want to use comprehending. I'm not gonna say comprehending. You're not able to admit that you have a problem and you need help.
So he's not a friend now, but at the time he was a friend. We had someone that always we knew he was mentally unstable, but he always threatened that he was going to do something to somebody or himself and all the stuff. And I realized that we kept talking him down, that I wasn't being a true friend because, 1, I'm in the healthcare field, and I wasn't being a true fan by just talking him down. And it took until we gave the resources and also said, okay, if you continue to say that, I'm calling the police.
For him to finally start to straighten himself up.
Correct.
That sometimes the fear of loss.
Right. So he was very much in denial, that he was mentally unstable until I literally said, like, I am in the healthcare field. This information is not okay. Like, this is not healthy for anybody around you. Because you're calling, you're saying this. How is anybody supposed to feel? How is anybody supposed to take that? So, again, I'm about to call the police and we're going to get you the right help. Because, again, we can say accountability and you have to want to be helped. But at the same time, you get to a point where sometimes some people have to force you to get help.
So I was just about to ask, can others hold you accountable for your mental health?
Yeah, I think so, because it's such a broad conversation, it's a broad illness, and some people need that extra push to get them where they need to be. A lot of people are in denial and they don't really know until that person that's close to them tell them. Like, it comes with communication. If you see me in a bad place and I don't realize I'm in such a bad place, like you have to tell them, and not try to necessarily bring them out, but make sure that they know that they're technically in a bad place and how to fix it.
What if that person knows they're in a bad place but is afraid to break out and get out of that bad place? Like they know they're in the darkest place that they've ever been in, but they're afraid to not get help, but they're afraid to, not become more. Let's say they're afraid of what people would think about them, so they don't go get help, so they stay the same person. Where do we as a society, or as their friends or their spouses and stuff like that, where do we step in and come in and say, listen, despite of what anybody thinks about you, we have to get you help?
I don't care about I don't care about all that. I'm one person, I don't care about what society thinks of me or my friends. I'm that person, like, I'm that friend that's gonna be like, all right, let's go. Let's get you out of the house. We about to go do something, because I know that you're not doing good. Like, I think you definitely everybody needs that friend. Everyone needs that person or that spouse that can definitely take you and grab you and, like, try to put you on the path, not walk you down it or to go over those obstacles, but can lead you to that path that you need to be.
Yeah, I think in that instance, you have to, at some point,
I'm scared to be great. That's right.
Exactly. At some point, you have to be able to look deep down in yourself, and look, if you're uneasy with looking at yourself in the mirror every single day, then that's a sign that you need help. If people constantly give you compliments and you saying, oh, I don't see how you see that. That's not me. I'm not that good. I'm not that great. I'm not the person that you see. You should go get help. If day in and day out you wake up and you don't want to get out of bed, or you don't want to be here amongst us as people, you should go get help. There's so many signs that someone needs professional help, but the problem is we as a society wait till it's too late to finally notice. We not only notice, we wait till it's too late to say something. We wait till it's too late to get involved. Mental health is very very, very important, and if we don't get it right, it can become scary and it can become deadly. And when we're talking about mental health and relationship, it's so many moving parts in a relationship that you have to gain, a higher level of a higher mental capacity. You have to be able to, let others guide you.
Right.
You have to be able to let go a little bit so someone can give you
a lot.
Let go a little so you can get a lot. Sometimes when we just stop being stubborn just a little bit, we can get a lot of love and grow a lot. Because honestly, a lot of our mental health problems, a lot of people that deal with depression and stress and anxiety just don't have love. People aren't showing them the love that they're reaching for. So they're reaching for it in a negative way. They're reaching for it with alcohol and drugs and spending tons of money on stuff that they don't. They're spending money. They're doing things for the attention and not for the love. Correct. or just the experience or the fun. Like they're doing it because they need to feel better.
Right.
And that's where us as society or as your spouse, you have to try to figure the signs out. One. Two, you have to step in and say, I don't give a damn how you feel about all of this. We're going to get you help. And not only are we going to get you help, we're going to push you through and help you use the help that we're giving you. I just want people to begin to be comfortable with having the conversation of mental illness. Or mental health. I want people to be comfortable with being able to say,
it.
I don't accept myself for who I am. I need help. Somebody help me get to a place where I can look at myself and say, okay, I love me.
Right.
I love you.
I actually do. Like, I love you, Brianna.
My French, but we as a society need to understand nobody gives a fuck about you more than you. In order to get help, you have to be willing to accept help. Exactly. And that's a great point. But here's the thing. But here's the thing with that though. Sometimes when we in cases of people that are mentally unstable,
they don't know.
They don't even care. They don't even care about them.
Right. So why would I accept it if I really don't care?
Exactly. Like I'm not gonna accept help from people that care about me if I don't care about myself. But as a spouse, as a
close friend,
as a human being that loves that human being, you have to continue to force the issue. And yes, they're going to be annoyed. They're going to be aggravated. They're going to not like you. They're going to say they're being annoying. But when they finally understand it and when they finally get that you are here for the betterment of them, they're going to open up just a little. That's not the time.
Sometimes it's generational.
That's true, Grandma. That's a good one, Grandma. But that's not, when somebody opens up a little bit, that's not the time for you to throw everything that you learned on Google about mental health at them. If somebody says,
it's all about the balance.
Somebody says, okay, I know I have a problem. I need help. That is your time to say, how can I help you?
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah.
How can I help you? Don't push.
What do you feel you need help with?
What can we do? What's step one to get preparing you to go on a journey? Because mental health, becoming mentally healthy and mentally stable is not easy. I think it's only second to becoming disciplined. The only thing harder than becoming mentally stable is becoming disciplined. That's it. Because people think discipline is just a routine. No. Discipline is, not having road rage. If you're working on your anger, not cussing the person out in front of you that cut you off without using a blinker. That's discipline. If you're working on your anger, that's self-discipline. That is the only thing harder.
I feel like you just took a shot at me.
No, because I do it too. I do too. I need to work on my anger and things like that. But mental health is hard. Being mentally healthy is hard. Being able to wake up every single day in the morning and smiling and say, I love life. That is the toughest thing to do. I'm cheery as hell. I love life. But some days I get out and I be like, man, fuck this. I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be, I don't want to be out and about making people smile. That's not what I want to do today.
Right.
And you have to recognize that if you're that person. One thing that's helped me, now it ain't gonna help everybody because everybody ain't spiritual. Praying and meditating. Prayer and meditation has helped me gain strength in my mentality so much. Like after I meditate, after I pray, I feel more, if that makes sense. I feel more of who I want to become after I pray, after I meditate. That's just a suggestion to some people. Doing strong affirmations. We watched the Tina Turner movie. That's a perfect example. Like, that's a perfect example of somebody that was in a mentally bad spot.
Mentally, physically, emotionally,
she was in a bad spot. And when she finally changed her life around, when she went to a religion that does what? Strong and heavy prayer and meditation. It's a constant concentration on mindfulness.
Right. Yep.
That's and I believe that that's one thing our society,
well-being
understanding
is well-being,
mindfulness.
Like, well-being is definitely key. I feel like being mentally unstable, until you learn your well-being, what is needed for you, what you want to do, like goal setting is what has helped me through my times. I set goals and I thought about like where I want to be, where have I gone, like what's the plan, and how can I be a better me if I don't set those goals and those expectations for myself. But again, I am very accountable. I don't do the blame game, and I also don't put all my problems and my pressure on my spouse. Like, I just don't. I can't, because I feel like it just died.
My phone just died.
That means mine's about to die. So I just feel like that's not healthy at all. Like, it's not healthy to put all of my problems, all my concerns, and all my instability on to my spouse. We can communicate and like we can game plan, we can goal set, but again, you should not expect your spouse to fix your problems. Support. They can support.
Wow.
Support.
Support.
But not fix.
That's huge right there. We might have to do a 2-part on this. I'm talking about this topic. That's huge right there. What you just said. Support. Support is huge. Support is big. Support can honestly make or break someone's recovery. Support can honestly be that turning point that leads someone to a better mind, a better life. When we talk about wellness, a lot of people, when we talk about health and wellness, people just automatically shift their mind into eating right and working out. Whenever we talk about health and wellness, we as society are so programmed to think that wellness is only just eating and working out.
Right.
Wellness is about mental growth and stability, physical growth and stability, financial growth and stability, familial, is that word? Having a better family, having better relationships. I looked up, I did a study, and they did a study that said that people that have more meaningful relationships are more likely to not only live longer, but be happier longer than people that have toxic or no relationships at all. They did a study. It was a study. It's a. I forgot the name of the country. It's a country it's overseas somewhere. But
that helps us out.
Yeah, I know. But it's like it's a country with a small neighborhood, and it's made up of a lot of people, elderly people, and all the people in that country, they see that their average age is like 92 years old.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's simply because The city, the neighborhood, the village is so small that the youth take care of the elderly by doing one simple thing. A youth, they assign young people to two elderly people, and every week they go and sit with them for 2 hours out of the day. And they said they have seen that has helped increase the lifespan of people because they have a connection to somebody. They're looking forward to something. Like if you just sitting cooped up in your house all day and you don't have any interactions with, I'm not talking about FaceTime, text messaging interactions, YouTube, Facebook. I'm talking about real face-to-face contact. I'm touching you. I'm here. I'm in your face. If you don't have those constant positive interactions every day, you're going to find it so hard to get better, to be better mentally and emotionally, because
that's why I was in such a bad place in Virginia, because you left me in the house.
Oh, shut up. But I really, really want to, especially with this being the last week of May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. You know, part 2, I really want to dig deep and really, because maybe somebody else's experience that's actually either going through it, been through it, or working through it,
or been around someone,
will trigger someone else's mind, like, oh, that's me. That's me. So
thanks,
bro. So next week,
work in progress.
Next week, same time, Sunday, 7 p.m. right here. Spread the news. Share this live. Like this live. Comment on this live. I will be. We love you guys. Thank you for being patient with us and our busy, crazy schedule. But we are the Levisons. We'll see you next Sunday. My name is Antonio.
My name is Brianna.
And we are the Levisons. See you guys next Sunday. Have a blessed and prosperous day. Have a blessed and prosperous week. And
be great.
We'll see you Sunday.
Be great.
Bye.